Okay, I'll get right to this. HR1111 puts America directly under UN rule. So I'm like, what is he talking about? And I'm not even going to listen to the first 6 minutes of this because he has this bizarre polarized belief that the Republicans are not part of this global domination and just pretending with masks and facades, or a facade rather. And I'm not a part of that belief system. I see Masons crawling throughout government and all areas of government, UN, unbelieving Israel, Kabbalists, so on and so forth. So I don't share in many of his opinions. But to get right to this bill, what is the big difference? Or what is the big deal with it, rather? Not difference. Apparently, it was introduced, so February of this year. It was introduced and it hasn't gone any farther at this point. So that's good to know. Thus far, it's called Department of Peacebuilding Act of 2019. Now, this is making me really nervous on some level for the world and what we know from scripture that we will end up getting this sorry, this upsets me. This theocracy controlling the earth, and with all these nations in the world, it makes sense that they're bringing everything underneath these common bonds of these, different departments that have power. So as you can see right here, Department of Peace Building in the executive branch. So that's going to be your legal beagle right there from the lawmakers, dedicated to peace building, peacemaking, and the study and promotion of conditions conducive to both. Oh, it's going to make me ill. Domestic and international peace and a culture of peace. Now, if you are a born again Christian, all manner of scriptures from our dear apostle Paul are going off in your brain about when they call for peace and safety, sudden destruction comes. And so they are making these inroads slowly to bring about almost like this 1984 ministry. And they had different kinds of ministries, but just thinking of one, Ministry of Truth, and it was to disseminate lies. They had a variety of formal, I'm just going to call them structures or centers or whatever you want to call them, to have a label of one objective, but in all reality, it actually sows towards the destruction of bringing about the opposite. So, for example, if they're calling it peace building and the Messiah used Daniel and others to tell us that it would be a wonderful deception, the Antichrist would come and destroy wonderfully. What an unusual way to state that. And he's really, the Yahweh of the Bible and Jesus is really trying to get us to understand that all of this talk about peace and safety, it's a lie. It's for UN depopulation. And let's keep going here. I'm kind of upset about this a little bit. The mission of the department includes the cultivation of peace and peace building as a strategic national, that's federal, policy objective and development of policies that promote, I think I just read that, I'm sorry, national and international conflict prevention. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I didn't. Okay, prevention. So we're going to control what you're allowed to say, think, and do before you even go that direction. Nonviolent intervention, mediation, peaceful conflict resolution, and structured conflict mediation. That just means control, 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 control. And when we can't control you, we take something away from you to make your life harder. That's what that means. All in this polished, beautiful language. We've been doing all these videos on Michael Brown and studying his double talk, double speak, double tongued bull. And this is exactly what the devil uses through the UN, through our government. The government is not for you. Oh my goodness. Hear me on this. The government of Masons are not for you. They hate you. They hate your Jesus and they hate you. And they are merely putting down the groundwork to destroy you if God allowed it. That's what that is. And to if God would allow it, to get rid of Christianity and then to prevent it even flourishing, which we know they fail because there still will be an elect during that time of hardship that is coming, that they'll go, yay, peace and safety. And God goes, oh no. So that's a big giant lie. And these are the measures that they're using to bring it about. And you have, so President Trump is allowing this. There, as well as many others. He said that there were 43 Dems that sponsored it. It brings authority of the U.S. under the UN, and the UN, you'll understand from my other videos and just research, the UN goes under Israel, and there's the legal binding Noahide. And so many thoughts are swinging all at once, but I'm going to try to resist a rabbit trail and just invite you to please go check out all my videos, especially seeing how there's different pieces along the way, like Kanye, like lots of different Jews or Gentiles who are playing a game in ministry with you, drawing you in through heresy and many other tools. And we've looked at scripture, so go check those out. You have the Hague being moved over to Israel, all these things that I don't really want to rehash in what little bit of time I have to get this out. So those are so well done as you just go check out the channel. All the videos are 13 to 15 minutes. Let's get back to this. This is dangerous. The department shall collaborate with others to promote personal and community security and peace by supporting policies to address personal and family violence, including suicide, address crime punishment and rehabilitation, including by reducing prison recidivism. So that means you go to prison, you get out, you go back. Reduce drug and alcohol abuse, and create through local community initiatives peace projects that facilitate conflict resolution and the healing of societal wounds. You're the problem, Christian. You and your God are the problem, they'll tell you. No, they're not focusing it here on this bill, but when you look into what the millennium goals are, the dictates of the UN, the bringing in of making various sins a norm, and the lawmaking against criticizing those things, Rainbow Mafia, or criticizing Israel, or criticizing this, that, and the other, it all blends together, and it's to come after, to silence, to shut you up. This is exactly what's being done in China, and they have the AI and the robots and the cameras and the whole thing and that beta test there, and now they're laying the foundation and the groundwork for it here. It's been sitting there since February, and just a couple months here, we'll be heading into 2020, and who knows where this will go. We know ultimately from scripture it will go to a global community. And we have videos detailing the UN on our soil just this past September, waiting to see what God would do with this Feast of Trumpets. The next Feast of Trumpets, a window of opportunity for the Lord to fulfill his feast, will be October the 17th. That corresponds with the conditions met and the criteria of the rapture in Revelation 12, verse 5, for those who will be going with the Lord. There are those who do not want to go with the Lord, and there are those who think they're going with the Lord, and they are most certainly not born again and most certainly not going. So the next window of opportunity is October the 17th for him to fulfill those feasts. And I have lots of videos and playlists going into the feasts if you want to know more about that information. It says here a federal interagency committee on peace is established to help coordinate the actions of the department with other federal agencies. This is New Age oriented. This will be about, you're not going to be able, churches or people, to say that there's only one path that leads to God and the rest lead to hell. There's so much at stake right here. I can't even get into everything that's at stake because it's been dealt with and talked about. Each one of my videos builds on a precept of this coming cohesive, multilateral, what do you want to call it? Attack on everything. They want to change the scripture. They want to get rid of the New Testament. They have already gotten rid of the Old Testament and revamped it. There's so many things that I could say right now. But please just go check out the videos. Just tour the channel and you'll see it all coming together. And basically it goes along with Psalm 2. They want to burst his bands. They don't want God controlling them. And they hate Christians. The department shall encourage citizens to celebrate the blessings of peace and endeavor to create peace on peace days. Peace, 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 peace. Well, Jesus is peace. Oh, did I miss a line here? The Department of Defense and the Department of State must consult with the department concerning nonviolent means of conflict resolution when a conflict between the U.S. and other government or entity is foreseeable, imminent, or occurring. Like, what does that even mean? That was just a whole bunch of gobbledygook. We learned about that yesterday, didn't we? Using a whole lot of words to say a whole lot of nothing. So this comes from the great hellish state of California, as it has been appropriately and affectionately renamed. And let's get a gander at Barbara Lee. Barbara Lee is wanting to take you down. There she is. Hey, Barbara. You devil of hell. Look at you. We want peace. No, you don't. You want to control the citizens. They think that they can define what is evil and then just root it out of you by behavioral control. Remember, Obama talked about that. Yeah, Obama talked about that. Let's see here. So they're kind of just sitting on it right now. And I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with that. I can't really speak to that. But the fact that it's been introduced is enough. Let's go take the last little bit of time here and go see what's shaking with Dave.
Is the preamble and its perceived relevant history. And like I did a lot of cutting on the bill. I only put the things in there that most concern me. The things like, okay, the secretary of this will communicate with the secretary of that. I left that stuff out because it wasn't relevant to the discussion. But I didn't leave anything out that was germane to what we're talking about. All right, Section 10. This is just unbelievable. I'm scrolling down here.
We'll get to
the United Nations, and they go, they're bringing the UN to this right away. The United Nations recognizes that promotion of peace is vital for full enjoyment of human rights. And they go on to say, here, let me scroll down. The United Nations is happy to oversee the education based on peace and the promotion of sustainable economic and social development and respect for human rights. The United Nations declared the years 2001 to 2010 an international decade for the culture of peace and nonviolence for the children of the world. See, this isn't about America. This is about children of the world. They've already used the UN here in this paragraph 3 times.
Woo.
Then they go on for the 4th time and say the United Nations supports a culture of peace. In 2015, the UN adopted 17 Sustainable Development Goals, including promotion and peaceful, inclusive societies. So they're giving you philosophical background in the preamble, and they mentioned the UN in this one paragraph 5 times. I thought Congress was supposed to represent the American people.
Nope.
And this bill is about establishing the Institute of Peace and then going forward with these peace programs. But see, it's not that simple. If it was just, let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya and get along, hey, okay, to each his own. That's not what this is about. Let me scroll back up to the, let me scroll down here. They establish here in, Excuse me just a minute here. In paragraphs 11 and 12, again in the preamble, there are references to UN peace building, Earth Commission, Earth Charter. Did any of your ears go up? I see one person here, Barb. You have a cross on there, a Christian cross.
That's gone.
Barb, I don't know if this means anything to you or if it means anything to anybody else here, but what I want you to pay attention to here is how this goes very anti-Christian very quickly.